My name is Joe. Standing in my kitchen, the soft glow of the sunset filters through the window, casting a warm hue over the room. I'm dancing alone, free from the noise and the performance that once defined my life. It's Easter, and for the first time in years, I'm at peace. Just a few days ago, I was still part of that chaotic family dynamic. I grew up in a large, somewhat traditional family. My parents, Richard and Elizabeth, are the kind of people who value appearances and tradition above all else. Richard is a no-nonsense man, quick to judge and slow to apologize. Elizabeth is more manipulative, using passive-aggressive remarks to get her way. My younger brother, Ben, is their golden child, the one who can do no wrong in their eyes. And then there's me, always in the background, making sure everything runs smoothly. I remember the moment that changed everything. I was going through old messages in our family group chat, double-checking the menu for Easter. I'd already made all the arrangements, ordered from the bakery, booked the catering, and prepaid for the chairs and the tent. That's when I saw it. Elizabeth had written, "Joe's such a fool. Always messing things up." And Richard had added a laughing emoji. It was right there, out in the open. They didn't know I could still see the messages, or maybe they just didn't care. Shock washed over me, but I didn't cry right away. I'd spent years shouldering the responsibility for every family holiday. Every year, I paid for the food, the decorations, and all the little details. Not once did they ask if I could afford it. They just assumed I would, and I did, because I thought love meant proving myself through my actions. That night, I made a decision. I canceled every single payment. The bakery, the tent, the florist, it was all gone. Then, I took screenshots of every invoice I'd paid for the last 5 years. I labeled them, totaled them up, and dropped them into the group chat. I wrote, "Your problem child is out. Good luck hosting." And I left the chat. It was a clean exit, no anger, no threats. By sunrise, my phone was bombarded with calls. 8 from Elizabeth, 3 from Richard, and 1 from my cousin, Lily, who simply texted, "Are you okay?" The group chat is in chaos. I ignored them all. I brewed my coffee slowly and stood by the window, letting the silence fill the space where their guilt should have been. Around 10 a.m. The calls stopped and were replaced by messages. Half-hearted apologies mixed with blame. "We didn't mean it like that. You know how we joke. Why are you taking it so seriously?" But they didn't understand. I'd taken everything seriously for years. Every forgotten birthday, every backhanded compliment, every time Elizabeth said, "At least Ben makes us laugh." I was never the favorite. I was the organizer, the one with the money, the quiet problem solver. By noon, Ben messaged me. "Nice fit. You've ruined Easter." I stared at the words and then smiled. What they saw as a tantrum was actually a boundary I should have set long ago. I replied with a screenshot of Elizabeth's message and added, "You don't get to benefit from what you mock." Then I blocked him. That weekend, the family group chat rebranded itself. They removed my name and renamed it Just Us. They posted selfies from a last-minute backyard Easter setup. Folding chairs, plastic tablecloths, and a grocery store cake with melting frosting. Elizabeth posted a photo with the caption, "Even without some people, the family comes together." Red heart #blessed. It got a few likes, mostly from people I hardly knew. Lily sent me a screenshot and said, "They're pretending it's fine, but it's a disaster." I didn't need the details. I knew how it would be. They didn't know how to order catering without me, didn't know the tent vendor required a deposit, and didn't realize the chairs had to be reserved weeks in advance. They were reacting to my absence, and it showed. That afternoon, I treated myself to brunch alone. I sat on a sunny patio, sipping a fresh mimosa. No one asked me to split a bill I'd already paid. I watched kids run by in pastel dresses, smiled at strangers, and tipped generously. It was simple, but it was peaceful. I posted a photo of my plate, my hand holding a fork, with the caption, "Sometimes peace looks like absence." By Monday, the narrative had shifted. I was no longer just sensitive. I was selfish, ungrateful, and holding a grudge over a joke. They told everyone I'd made Easter about money, even though they'd never noticed it was always my money. Every receipt I'd dropped in the chat had gone unanswered. Every year, they thanked Ben for organizing, while I paid the bills behind the scenes. And if I asked a simple question like who was bringing napkins, I was called controlling. This time, I didn't argue. I'd finally learned that people who are determined to misunderstand you will never listen to the truth. But some people were paying attention. Lily texted me, "Aunt Grace called Elizabeth out. She said it was low to mock you in the chat." Elizabeth denied it, and I sent her the screenshot. I didn't ask what happened next, but I could imagine the panic. I updated a folder on my computer with all the evidence, screenshots, receipts, and bank statements. It was a reminder that keeping track of these things wasn't petty, it was self-protection. They wanted me to come back, to be the bigger person. But forgiveness isn't automatic just because we're family. By mid-week, the calls started again. Richard called first. His voice was awkward and overly casual. "Hey, just checking in. Hope you're okay. Your mom's been really upset. You know how she gets." There was a pause, waiting for me to fill the silence. I didn't say a word. He cleared his throat and said, "She didn't mean it." Things were said in the heat of the moment. Let's just move on. But moving on was always their way of making me forget and pretend it never happened. I ended the call with a simple "noted" and then blocked his number. 2 hours later, Lily messaged me. "Aunt Carol says your mom isn't eating. She says you've broken her heart." No one mentioned the hurtful words, the years of my sacrifices, or the lack of appreciation. When the scapegoat leaves, the whole act falls apart. Lily texted again, "They're panicking. The group chat is silent. They're scared of what you'll post next." I hadn't planned on posting more, but that message made me realize they weren't sorry. They were scared of losing the version of me who kept quiet to keep the peace. So I posted a story with a screenshot of my Easter expenses over the last 5 years, $1,200 here, $800 there. No names, just a caption, "Ask who paid. Ask who planned. Ask who called me useless." There was no response, just a heavy silence. The silence didn't last long. By Friday, Elizabeth messaged in the group chat. "We all say things we don't mean. You've embarrassed the whole family. Are you proud of yourself?" There was no apology, just blame disguised as concern. I read the message twice and then closed my phone. I wasn't trying to embarrass them. I just wanted to exist without being mocked, used, or ignored. I went through my old photos that night. There I was, setting up the party, holding trays of food, and filling Easter eggs while the kids played around me. I was smiling in every photo, but now I could see that smile was just a mask for survival. Lily messaged again. "I think they're starting to realize. You were the one who made the holidays happen. You were the glue, and now it's broken. Good. Let it break." I wasn't going to put myself back together just so they could tear me down again. On Saturday morning, the doorbell rang. Twice, then a pause, and then again, louder. I peeked through the side window. It was Richard, holding a plastic grocery bag, his shoulders hunched like a guilty child. I didn't open the door. I answered through the intercom. "Yes?" He flinched at the sound. "It's just me. I brought your favorite cake from that place near the park. Thought we could talk." I almost laughed. The man who'd always told me I was overreacting was now standing in the rain with a cake, trying to make up for years of hurt. "Why now?" I asked. He blinked and said, "Because you matter. Your mom isn't good with words." I let the silence hang. She was great at using words to hurt me. "You can leave the cake," I said finally, "but I won't open the door." He nodded slowly and set the bag down. "Okay. I think I get it." As he turned, I saw the confusion on his face. He was starting to realize that I wasn't the doormat anymore. I was a person with boundaries. Inside, Lily texted me, "You okay?" I sent her a picture of the cake sitting untouched on the porch, the rain starting to soak the box. The caption was simple: "Some things can't be sweetened." And for the first time in years, my chest felt light. It wasn't because everything was fixed, but because I wasn't carrying their burdens anymore. Easter morning arrived, and there were no group chat messages, no calls, no guilt trips. Just a beautiful, golden silence. I brewed my coffee slowly, watching the steam rise like a ritual. There were no deviled eggs, no Easter baskets, and no family obligations. I walked barefoot across the grass in my backyard, spread a blanket, and opened my journal. I wrote the truth I'd always avoided: I was never the problem. I was the one holding everything together. And now, I was done feeding the people who only took from me. At noon, I posted a photo collage online. 10 years of Easter tables, dozens of receipts, and pictures of me taking care of everyone. The caption read, "She wasn't the problem. She was the unpaid event planner, therapist, gift giver, and peacemaker. She's gone. You're on your own." I turned off my notifications and put on some music. By sunset, I was dancing alone in my kitchen, free from the noise, the shame, and the performance. Later, Lily sent me one last text. "They're in a mess. They can't find the plastic eggs, and they can't even get matching chairs." I smiled. That was my revenge, not in anger or bitterness, but in showing them what it's like when the backbone is gone. And I was walking away, tall and straight, never looking back.